Fabinho was considered one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, instrumental to Liverpool winning the Champions League, the Premier League, and last season's historic domestic cup double. So, Gaurav, why is he much maligned this season?
Man, my bald brother.
Mm,
I have a soft spot for Fabinho, so this is a hard video to make. This is a hard criticism to throw out, but I think my man's legs have gone, man. I think his legs have just gone. I just don't see that bite in the tackle anymore. His successful tackle percentage has gone down like 14% in one season. Like I didn't even know that was fucking possible. it's it's ridiculous watching him play how little intensity or enthusiasm he has for winning the ball back or being snappy in the tackle and winning a good foul or any of the things that like a CDM is supposed to do. He just seems disinterested, and I think it's a lack of energy.
there was one stat that I saw around early November, maybe around 4th or 5th of November. In the previous 8 games, Thiago had made one successful tackle. And that is a damning stat, but it doesn't show the entire thing. He had actually increased the amount of ball recoveries he had. I just think it's more than that. I think it's a mobility issue. He got injured at the tail end of last season, and I don't think he's recovered from that. Do you think that's a factor?
Well, he did start the season late, right? Because he was
Mm.
coming back from injury and everything. And since he's been back, he's been poor. I think all of us suspected once Fabinho would come back, there would be more solidity in midfield. We'd be able to start playing, a more regular midfield. We'd get some solidity in that starting 11. But it hasn't happened. And that's mainly because of the fact that he keeps getting exposed. Like, he's leaving way too many spaces either side of him. When Trent goes Trent goes up the pitch, he's leaving way too much space behind Trent. And he doesn't have the pace that once someone skipped past him to catch up anymore. He just doesn't have the legs or the energy to sprint back into position. So you're hoping that he gets that first tackle in and he wins the ball with that, because if he doesn't, he's fucked, and so are we. And that's what's happened over and over and over again this season. And that the problem is that first challenge used to be calculated, intelligent, and accurate. This season, it's like he's just throwing himself like a particular direction, and it's so easy to run around it.
Bro, he's 29 years old. You can't say his legs are gone.
I'm telling you, man, his legs are gone. Like, I think the last season, I think he made something like 50 something appearances. It was something even more than that. It was something ridiculous. Because Liverpool played a shit ton of games last season. And I honestly think
63 in total.
Yeah.
I think 63
And I
in
honestly
total.
think his legs are just, he doesn't have that, like, his first two steps are just not that quick. And in that position, the way we play that position, your first 2-3 steps are your acceleration is really important. And he doesn't have that acceleration anymore. A great example is Bajcetic, who's 18, might not always be in the best place, might not be as good of a tackler, but because he's got a bit of a spring in his step, he's performing much better in that position that Fabinho has been for us.
So look, I'm one of those people who will stand by a player if he plays through injury, which I think Fabinho has done. And I think that grants him a little bit of leeway. Do you think it's not rather that his time is done? Do you think it's more of he needs a break and he needs to go away and recover?
Exactly. So I don't think it's Fabinho's done, we should get rid of him. I think that's dog shit. Like you, I will stand by these players till kingdom come. And I honestly feel like Fabinho just needs a break. He just needs like a few weeks out, knowing that that position is being handled by somebody else. He needs competition for that position as well. I think he hasn't had competition for that position up until this season with Bajcetic. Every other time he's been injured or he's not been able to start a game, we've played Hendo or Milner in there. and it's been a stopgap solution. He's never had competition for that place. So whether that's Bajcetic or whether that's a new signing coming in, I think Fabinho getting a break from that position, I think him also transitioning to, not necessarily starting every game and playing the full 90 every game, because he is at a later stage of his career. And that position does need someone who has the legs and is going to be able to put energy into every minute. So maybe it's also a question of phasing him out of the side slowly from a starting role to a bench role.
Do you think it's time for him to have a bench role?
I don't think the time is yet, but I think you can start to phase him out a little bit. Instead of having him play the full 90, have him play 70 minutes, have him play 80 minutes. Start to phase him out, bring Bajcetic on for more of those games to shore things up. And that's how you start to basically transition over the course of a season or 2 seasons. That now Fabinho's, in his early 30s, 32.
Wow.
Then you start to basically have some competition there, because I just don't think, all the evidence I've seen this season, it's not even close to being the same player. It's like not even close to being the same player, which is shocking, because like I love Fabinho, but I honestly think it's a situation where you're not cutting your losses and you're not getting rid of the player, but you're protecting the player from his weakest moments, right? Get back to the basics. Make sure that he's fully fit and coming back from injury, and his legs are under him. Then start him in games. Then start to bring him off the bench. Then start to actually start games with him and play him till his legs last in that position. Don't stretch it out for 95, 96 minutes if you don't have to. Bring him off, bring Bajcetic on, or bring someone else on in that position and shore it up and save his legs. We've done a pretty poor job, I think. After last season, it just looks like all the players have a bit of fatigue, but it seems like we've done a really poor job of managing that fatigue and managing legs. So if we're going to extend the careers of Fabinho, Henderson, players like this, we need to manage their minutes.
I think that's another quite a sensible approach to Fabinho, the same way of your views of Thiago, a video that we've done, and we'll link it in the description below. Let us know what you guys think about Fabinho. He's had a very, very poor start to the season. He did have injuries, but it is quite telling he hasn't reached the performance levels that he has done. Do you share Garo's view, very measured view, a very supportive view of your Liverpool player who has achieved so much? Or are you part of that fan base that wants to drive him out of the club and hopefully bring him to Manchester United as a backup to Casemiro? Let us know. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.